IELTS Speaking Part 2 topic. Describe a memorable conversation you had with someone. Who did you have the conversation with? Where and when did it take place? What did you talk about? Why was it memorable?
One of the most memorable conversations I have ever had was with my grandfather, an exceptionally wise elder in my family. This conversation took place on a warm summer evening last year, in the comfort of his cozy living room. We had just finished dinner, and the soothing melody of birds chirping outside provided the perfect backdrop for our heartfelt discussion. As we settled into our seats, the conversation naturally steered towards life's experiences and the lessons they impart. My grandfather began sharing stories of his youth, filled with intriguing anecdotes and valuable insights. He spoke about the challenges he faced during his early years and how he overcame them with sheer determination and resilience. His tales were imbued with poetic imagery, painting vivid pictures of a bygone era. We delved deeper into our conversation, exploring topics that ranged from love and relationships to personal growth and fulfillment. My grandfather's profound wisdom shone through in every word he spoke, and I found myself captivated by his eloquence. He shared pearls of wisdom, advising me on the importance of perseverance, kindness, and self-belief in the pursuit of one's dreams. What made this conversation truly unforgettable was the profound bond we formed that evening. The knowledge that I was receiving invaluable guidance from someone who had experienced the ups and downs of life left an indelible mark on my soul. I felt a sense of connection and appreciation for my grandfather's immense wisdom, a connection that transcended the generation gap between us. Moreover, the conversation served as a catalyst for self-reflection. My grandfather's words resonated deeply within me, urging me to contemplate my own aspirations and values. It was as if he had provided me with a key to unlock the doors of self-discovery. The conversation propelled me to reassess my goals, recognize my strengths, and embrace the journey of personal growth. In retrospect, this conversation stands out among the myriad of exchanges I have had throughout my life. It was not merely a dialogue between two individuals, but a transformative experience that left an indelible impression on my mind and heart. The richness of the language he employed, his ability to effortlessly convey complex ideas, and the profound wisdom he imparted elevated the conversation to an entirely new level. In conclusion, the memorable conversation I had with my wise grandfather surpassed all expectations. It took place in his living room, where he shared captivating stories, dispensed valuable advice, and inspired me to reflect on my own journey. The profound bond we forged that evening, combined with his eloquence and poetic imagery, made this conversation truly remarkable. I will forever cherish the wisdom and insights gained from this extraordinary encounter, carrying them with me as guiding lights on my path of personal growth. IELTS Speaking Part 2 topic. Describe a memorable conversation you had with a stranger. When and where did this conversation take place? What was the topic of the conversation? How did the conversation unfold and what did you learn from it? How did this conversation impact your thoughts or perspective? In the midst of my wanderlust-filled journey across the enchanting landscapes of New Zealand, a serendipitous encounter with a stranger left an indelible mark on my memory. The incident transpired on a crisp autumn morning, atop the picturesque Lake Tekapo's shores, renowned for its awe-inspiring turquoise waters and the tranquil church of the Good Shepherd that graces its edge. Little did I know that this scenic spot would also serve as the backdrop for a conversation that would broaden my horizons. The topic of our conversation was as unexpected as our meeting itself, the profound connection between nature and human emotions. As I was absorbed in capturing the lake's reflection in my camera, a soft-spoken gentleman approached, his eyes reflecting the same admiration for the view. A simple exchange of pleasantries escalated into a lively discourse as we found ourselves delving into the depths of philosophy. The conversation unfolded organically, like leaves carried by a gentle breeze. Our words danced through the air, traversing diverse tangents from Wordsworth's romantic poetry to the Japanese concept of Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing. What struck me most was the stranger's ability to articulate his thoughts with eloquence and a plethora of vivid metaphors that painted a vivid picture in my mind. Through his narratives, I learned that he was a seasoned traveler, one who had traversed the globe seeking solace in the embrace of natural beauty. His anecdotes were not just stories, they were a mosaic of emotions, experiences, and wisdom amassed through his explorations. As he shared his encounters with pristine rainforests, towering mountains, and pristine coastlines, I began to perceive nature as more than just a backdrop for pretty landscapes. It was a living entity, capable of evoking profound emotions and insights. This conversation left an indelible impact on my thoughts and perspective. I had always appreciated nature, but this encounter deepened my understanding of its therapeutic power. I realized that the natural world has an uncanny ability to mirror and even influence our innermost feelings. Just as a stormy sky can mirror inner turmoil, a tranquil meadow can evoke peace within. In retrospect, this exchange of ideas with a stranger reinforced my belief in the beauty of spontaneous connections. It taught me that wisdom knows no boundaries and can be found in the most unexpected of encounters. As I watched the stranger disappear into the horizon, I was reminded of the adage that people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And though our conversation was fleeting, its impact lingered, enriching my soul with newfound insights and a renewed reverence for the world around us. In conclusion, my encounter with a stranger by the shores of Lake Tekapo was more than just a casual chat. It was an intellectual journey that intertwined philosophy and nature, leaving me with a deeper understanding of the human-nature relationship. As I continue my travels, I carry with me not only the memories of the stunning landscapes, but also the invaluable wisdom shared by a fellow traveler, a reminder that every conversation, no matter how brief, has the power to leave an everlasting imprint.
IELTS Speaking Part 2 topic. Describe a conversation that changed your perspective on something. Who did you have the conversation with, and what was the topic? Why did this conversation have a significant impact on you? What specific points or arguments were raised in the conversation? How did your perspective or understanding change as a result?
A conversation that significantly altered my perspective on environmental conservation occurred about 2 years ago with my close friend, Sarah. The topic of our conversation was climate change and the urgent need for individual actions to combat its effects. The reason this conversation had such a profound impact on me was because, up until that point, while I had been aware of climate change and its consequences, I hadn't fully grasped the extent of the issue or the role that each person plays in contributing to it. Sarah, on the other hand, was incredibly knowledgeable about environmental issues and was passionate about raising awareness. During our conversation, Sarah articulated several key points that challenged my previous views. She explained the concept of a carbon footprint, detailing how our daily choices, such as transportation, energy consumption, and even dietary habits, contribute to the release of greenhouse gases. She also shared eye-opening statistics about the accelerated rate of global temperature rise, which painted a grim picture of the future if we don't take immediate action. What truly struck me was when she presented the concept of interconnectivity in the environment. Sarah emphasized how even seemingly small actions, like using disposable plastic, can have far-reaching consequences for ecosystems, including the oceans and wildlife. She cited specific examples of plastic waste harming marine life and polluting our oceans, making it clear that our habits directly affect the planet's health. As a result of this conversation, my perspective on environmental conservation underwent a profound transformation. I realized that the responsibility for addressing climate change lies with each individual. No longer could I ignore my own contribution to the problem. Sarah's points forced me to confront the reality that even seemingly minor actions can accumulate to create major environmental issues. From that day on, I began making conscious choices to reduce my carbon footprint. I started using public transportation more often, minimized plastic usage, and became more mindful of my energy consumption. I also engaged in discussions about environmental issues with friends and family, inspired by Sarah's passion for spreading awareness. In conclusion, the conversation I had with my friend Sarah reshaped my outlook on environmental conservation. Through her insights and compelling arguments, I came to understand the urgency of addressing climate change on an individual level. This conversation served as a wake-up call that prompted me to alter my habits and actively contribute to a more sustainable future.
IELTS Speaking Part 2 topic. Describe a memorable conversation you had with someone. Who was the person you had the conversation with? Where and when did the conversation take place? What was the topic of the conversation? Why was it memorable to you?
I'd like to share a memorable conversation I had with my dear aunt, Aunt Beatrice. This heartwarming dialogue took place a few years ago during a family gathering at my grandparents' house, nestled in the picturesque countryside. It was a crisp autumn evening, the leaves had turned into vibrant shades of red and gold, and a gentle breeze rustled through the trees, setting the perfect backdrop for our chat. The topic of our conversation revolved around her remarkable life journey and the invaluable lessons she had learned along the way. Aunt Beatrice is a woman of wisdom and grace, having experienced a multitude of trials and tribulations in her long and eventful life. As she sipped on her tea and gazed out at the rolling hills through the window, she began to share her pearls of wisdom. One idiom that she used that stuck with me was rolling with the punches. She spoke of how life had thrown her many challenges, but she had always managed to adapt and keep moving forward, just like a skilled boxer who doesn't let the punches bring them down. Her resilience in the face of adversity was truly inspiring. As we delved deeper into our conversation, Aunt Beatrice shared another idiom, the icing on the cake. She told me about a particularly difficult period in her life when she lost her job and was facing financial difficulties. But amidst the hardship, she received a surprise inheritance from a distant relative, which she described as the icing on the cake. This idiom perfectly encapsulated the unexpected joy she had experienced during a trying time. Our conversation was filled with such idiomatic gems, each painting a vivid picture of Aunt Beatrice's life experiences. She spoke of turning over a new leaf when she decided to pursue her passion for painting after retirement. She also mentioned making a long story short when summarizing her travels around the world. What made this conversation truly memorable was not just the idioms and phrases she used, but the genuine connection we shared. Aunt Beatrice's ability to weave her life's anecdotes into a tapestry of wisdom left an indelible mark on me. Her stories were a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of staying positive in the face of adversity. In conclusion, my conversation with Aunt Beatrice was a cherished moment in my life. It took place in a serene countryside setting, was filled with idiomatic expressions that enriched our dialogue, and revolved around the remarkable life journey of a wise and inspiring woman. It was memorable because it reminded me of the power of optimism, adaptability, and the importance of learning from our experiences. Aunt Beatrice's words continue to resonate with me, serving as a guiding light in my own journey through life.
IELTS Speaking Part 2 topic. Describe an interesting conversation you had with a stranger. Where did the conversation take place? How did you initiate the conversation with the stranger? What did you talk about? What made the conversation interesting or memorable for you?
One day, while waiting for my flight at the bustling Heathrow Airport, I stumbled upon an intriguing conversation with a stranger that remains etched in my memory. This encounter occurred in the cozy ambience of an airport lounge, where weary travelers sought solace before embarking on their respective journeys. The lounge, with its plush seating and soft ambient lighting, provided an ideal setting for such a serendipitous meeting. I initiated the conversation quite spontaneously. Seated next to a gentleman who appeared to be in his late 40s, I noticed he was engrossed in a novel that I had recently read. Intrigued by our common literary interest, I mustered the courage to break the ice. "Excuse me," I began, "I couldn't help but notice you're reading *Sapiens* by Yuval Noah Harari. It's one of my favorites. What do you think of it so far?" His eyes lit up with a mixture of surprise and delight, and from that moment, an engaging dialogue ensued. Our discussion meandered through various topics, starting with the profound insights and thought-provoking ideas presented in Harari's work. We delved into the evolution of human societies, the impact of technological advancements, and the future of artificial intelligence. It was fascinating to hear his perspective, which was richly informed by his background as a historian. He shared anecdotes from his travels to ancient archaeological sites, seamlessly weaving them into our conversation and enriching it with vivid details. What made this conversation particularly memorable was the depth and breadth of the subjects we covered. Beyond the book, we discussed the state of modern education, the importance of preserving historical artifacts, and the ethical dilemmas posed by emerging technologies. His ability to articulate complex concepts with clarity and his eloquent expression captivated me. Furthermore, our exchange was interspersed with moments of humor and mutual appreciation, making it not only intellectually stimulating but also enjoyable. As our flight was announced, we exchanged contact information, promising to continue our conversation in the future. Reflecting on this encounter, it was not just the topics we discussed that made it special, but also the connection forged through a shared passion for knowledge and curiosity about the world. This chance meeting with a stranger, in the transient space of an airport lounge, reminded me of the serendipitous nature of human interactions and the boundless potential for meaningful exchanges in the most unexpected places. In conclusion, this memorable conversation was marked by its spontaneity, the richness of the dialogue, and the profound connection established with a fellow traveler. It is a testament to how a simple question about a book can lead to an enriching and unforgettable experience. Hope you liked our video. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to keep us motivated.